The Freedom Convoy's members are fraudulently claiming to be representatives of freedom. The Freedom Convoy's members consenting to be governed is giving the governments their power, but the Freedom Convoy's members are too blind to see it. As the Freedom Convoy's members are not doing everything in their power to defend themselves from the corrupt, tyrannically oppressive governments they claim to be opposing, as the Freedom Convoys are not doing everything in their power to abolish their corrupt, tyrannically oppressive governments, the Freedom Convoy's members are nothing more than lazy, undedicated cowards who do not, in fact, represent freedom. If the Freedom Convoy's members truly cared about their freedom, they would simply declare themselves independent of the current governments, peacefully abolishing said governments by revoking their consent to be governed under corrupt, tyrannically oppressive governments, exercising their right to form new governments, ones that have their best interests at heart, defending their right to do so from any who attempt to stop them, all of which can be done by organizing with our brothers and sisters at home and in our community centers, without causing such great division. We do not demand a new government. We organize a new one with our communities. Stop this foolishness at once. Furthermore, how does one replace their government ere they've declared themselves independent and revoked their consent to be governed by the current governments? As governments get their power from the consent of the governed, until the governed have declared themselves independent, until the governed have revoked their consent to be governed under the current governments, said governments cannot be tyrannically oppressing the governed. As the members of the Freedom Convoys are not policing themselves, they are responsible for the harm and loss that is being caused to the communities they choose to reside in. The Freedom Convoys cannot justify harassing our neighbors by honking their horn all night. If these people truly cared for justice, they would be enforcing it within their numbers. We must hold people accountable for their actions, regardless of who they are. The members of the Freedom Convoys are not doing that because they are lazy, undedicated cowards that do not, in fact, represent freedom. The members of the Freedom Convoys are standing idly by and watching violence happen. Police officers are stealing from and attempting to take the lives of the members of the Freedom Convoys. Well, the members of the Freedom Convoys are just sitting there watching it happen and doing nothing to defend themselves. They are allowing violence to be used against them, and they are just as responsible for it because they are not standing up and defending themselves from it, which says a lot about the dedication and bravery held by the members of the Freedom Convoy, for their actions speak louder than their words. If these people are so unwilling to protect and defend not only their own, but their fellow members' freedoms, why would I believe they'd be willing to defend mine? Why are they not doing everything in their power to abolish their corrupt, tyrannically oppressive governments peacefully at home? Their lack of action makes them responsible for the violence of their government's representatives. When someone attempts to victimize our brothers and sisters and we fail to hold them accountable for their actions, we fail to serve them justice, we fail to ensure they suffer the consequences of their actions, we are just as responsible for their actions. I will not be responsible for another's actions because I failed to do what is righteous. That would be violence on my part. If these people had revoked their consent to be governed and declared themselves independent of the current governments while organizing within their communities to form new governments just to continue to be tyrannically oppressed, I would die for their cause. Self-defense and holding people accountable for their actions is not violence. Serving justice is not violence. The actions of the members of the Freedom Convoys serve only to cause an even greater divide between the members of our communities. The actions of the members of the Freedom Convoy are causing a huge distraction. I can't imagine what the other hand of the government is doing right now. What would truly terrify these governments is if these people went home and formed new governments and died defending their right to do so. Partying in the streets is not a representation of freedom. To reiterate, the members of the Freedom Convoys have absolutely no justification for what they're doing. Quite frankly, I believe the Freedom Convoy is doing exactly what the powers that be would like them to do. The actions of the Freedom Convoy are entirely inappropriate and serve only to create a bigger divide between the citizens of our countries. and rightly so, seeing as their actions are unjustly causing harm and loss to their brothers and sisters. Do the right thing, which is to organize and work together to form a new government at home and within our communities. Divided, we are weak. Together, we are strong. You are not being tyrannically oppressed, as governments get their power from the consent of the governed. Until you've revoked your consent to be governed under a government, until you've declared yourself independent of a government, said government is not tyrannically oppressing you. I would like to leave you with a quote from Thomas Paine. The duty of a true patriot is to protect his country from its government. If you would like to become a member of the Rebels of the Sacred Earth, or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us at the following email. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe, for it helps the cause greatly. If you would like to donate to support the cause, I'll leave a link to do so in the description. Thank you.